Wow, welcome back to another tutorial. My name is Jackson Jacoby. This is a music production guide. I'm right here to show you the 10 top tips for making a good mix. I'm going to review that 10 top tips for you guys to know how to make a good mix. So without wasting time, let's dive straight into the tutorial for today. So before I go into the tutorial for today, I want to congratulate all of you guys. I want to welcome all my returning subscribers. I want to welcome old and the new subscribers right here. You guys are making it happen in this channel. In case you are coming across this channel for the first time, or you are seeing my video for the first time and you love music production, you love mixing and mastering, and you love how to make beats, then this is the right channel for you. Kindly consider clicking this subscription button right down below and click the notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified once I upload a new brand video, because I do upload every Mondays and every Fridays. So I know that you will not want to miss out in this great content that I drop on this channel every week. So without wasting time, let's dive straight into tutorial for today. Just like I said, I'm going to drop top 10 tips for making a good mix, and I'm gonna use this beat to kind of illustrate what I'm going to be saying. So let's listen from the chorus of the beat.
Your body sweet gum, make it gum your body. Make it give me some, make it give you money. You don't want to implicate, I want to implicate you. Oh, bye. I want to implicate 4G, baby, 4G, baby, 4G. You're wasting 4G, baby, 4G. 4G, baby, 4G, you're wasting 4G, baby.
So the first tips that you got to know about is, whenever you are doing your mixing, try to keep your mixing simple. Yes, make sure you keep your mix simple. Then how do I mean by keeping your mix simple? It will always start from your instrumentation, then down to your vocals. Most of us right here don't always want it simple. They always want it heavy. They want to keep adding sound, keep adding percussions, and at a time when it comes to your mixing, you see that the vocals doesn't have a place to sit. There will be some crash in some frequencies, so you don't actually want to make your production so noisy. So always keep it simple. Add your instruments when necessary or when needed. If not needed, make it simple. Just like as you see in this track that I just played now. This is my track, I recorded it, and you see that there's not much that was done on this beat. Let me just play the percussions and the beat I did. Okay, let me just play the beat just a little before I go down to the instrumentation I use. You see how simple it becomes. So I want to be playing through because this is I'm trying to reduce time. Okay, I don't want this video to be too long. So then the next I added is just my omnisphere. Then my bass comes in. After which I add my strings. Then on some point in time I put like a rhythm, so watch. kind of a rhythm. Let me play just that. Yeah, this is from Hemisphere. So you see how simple that was. You see how simple it was. I try everything possible to make the sound very, very smooth, very, very simple. A lot of you guys will be wanting to add so many instruments, but if you check my instrument I add here, it's just about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just 5 basic instruments, and the percussions and the kick are well mixed down. It makes your mix very simple, and when you introduce your own vocals, then you see that everything blends. So this is a very strong tips for you to know. Start getting your track, start getting your instrumental very simple. So the second tips is keep it down. Most of the mixing engineers that I see always turn their stereo speakers very loud. Like they think that by turning it loud, then that means that they are hearing all the sounds. No, it's wrong. It's a very wrong tips. What you need to be doing is try everything possible to reduce the volume of your speaker. Probably you can make all the volume go into the 12th, like 12 time. You know what I mean, like 12. Make sure that you keep your volume at the clockwise 12. You can regulate it to 11 or to 12. Yes, that's my own method I use. So don't always put all the volume, your speaker volume, all the way to the maximum. Probably the tracks that you are mixing is not done by you. Maybe it was sent for you to mix. So when the volume is being adjusted a little bit down, then it gives you room for you to understand the element that we use on the instrumentation, and the sum of stops that happen on the sound and some of the stops that happen on the vocals. It gives you proper stereo placement. So make sure you understand that. Make sure you keep these tips at the back of your mind. Just like as I have this now, the volume, my volume is always on 12th. Yes, it's always on 12th, so you can monitor all that are necessary. So the third tip is watch the drops. Yes, what do I mean by that? Before you start adding your EQ, before you start adding your compressor, always listen to the raw mix. Yes, raw vocals. Yes, without you adding anything. First of all, analyze what does this vocal tells, like, you know, without you adding your EQ, your compressor, what actually do I want to achieve in this mix? Yeah, it's very important tip, so make sure you get to do that. The next tips I'll be reviewing to you today is the tips number 4, which is all together. What I mean all together is that, you know, most engineers don't mix everything they give them as a data. Yes, they always want to probably categorize so songs, so percussions, or so sounds, and later delete the others. Probably they might see not necessary. The 5th tips that I'll be reviewing today is give it a rest. Yes, most of the engineers I see this time around, that they always want to make it happen in lesser time. Like they want to mix that track just in a matter of 1 hour. Yes, and they want to expect that dope professional result, which it is not always done like that. Anytime you are mixing your job, you know, try to rest. Is very important. Yes, because when you rest, it makes your body get more regulated, and makes your brain get more regulated, and makes you have another perspective of what to do, what to add. Just like this project that I just played right here, you know, it took me like about probably just about 3 days to get it finally mixed, and the 4th day is just for my mixing. So if you don't want to get your ear saturated, you should try everything possible to make sure you rest and come back the next day and continue your mixing. The next tips that I'm going to review today for you to make your good mix is listening from a distance. When you are done balancing, when you are done doing your stereo placement, one of the best practice that you should inculcate is try to listen that particular mix from a distance. Yes, why is because it's gonna reveal some stereo placement. It's gonna make you understand that okay, that the bass need to be turned down or it need to be turned up, that most of the stops need to be turned down, most of the backups that are not well placed, that you're gonna give the actual movement. If you're done with your mixing and you are kind of from a far or from a distance perceiving what you mix, you discover that the bass are not actually pumping out the way you wanted, or rather the bass are lesser. So what you need to do is to first of all turn up your bass, or probably the kick and not booming and not up to the standard of what you actually have in mind. So this is gonna give you a good room for you to turn up or to reduce that kick or any part of the percussions that you think that are not well saturated. Okay, the 7 tips that I'll be reviewing today is what I call combine tracks. Sometimes I do receive stems up to 200 audio tracks. Like, you know, when you receive the tracks that have stems of about 200 channels, like at times, if you're not professionals, you might get lost, you know, because the artist wants to record the tracks the way he felt that it's gonna be okay, and probably he will be kind of activating more audio tracks and be recording audio stops. Okay, so what you should be doing actually is regrouping those tracks and reducing the amount of audio tracks. So one good practice that you should learn today is that make your audio tracks very simple in looking, like very simple. Maybe you guys that are mixing like about 150 stems, like 150 channels, this is just a waste of time, and I bet you at some point in time you might get confused. Yes, in the sense that you want to mix something like backup chorus or any part of the instrument, because the channels are so long, there's a very tendency that you're going to make a mistakes in muting one or two places, or maybe in not even giving more attention in one or two audio or in one or two sounds. So but when your audio tracks are well managed, are well grouped, probably you might be having like close to 50 stems, or maybe 50 yes, 50 is manageable, so you can be able to understand what is happening. You know, one thing is to get involved in your niche. Yes, so when you combine those tracks, like for instance, let me play this audio for you guys to understand what I'm trying to say.
Me, your body sweet the gum, make a gum your body. Make it give me time, make it give you money.
You see what I'm trying to say? So this particular audio track is on 13, the other one is on 14. And you see, whatever that happens here already happens there. Any parameters that I use on the 10 audio track is the same parameters I use on the audio track 13. So for me to manage my audio track, you know, what I do is I make sure I cut this off and drag this audio track up here, or probably drag it up here and drag it up here. So what you're gonna do is you bring this audio track up here and bring the other one up here, thereby making this particular one a free channel for you to remove. Yes, so it's not quite necessary, so you remove it. So why you are doing that is that it's gonna give you room for you to be in charge of your mixing. You know, one thing is to get in charge of your mixing, because if you're not in charge of your mixing, if you cannot look your work area and say, oh, okay, I'm in charge, like, you know what I mean, like being in charge, like, okay, I know where my group tracks on the instrumental is, where my group tracks on my sound is, my backup, my lead vocals, then you're not in charge. So, but this grouping that I'm trying to put you through, combining these tracks together and removing all the tracks that are not needed, is a very good practice that you should inculcate before doing your mix, and it's going to give you a good mix once you are done. So number 8 tips that I'll be reviewing today is get the red out. You see, this is red. You see, this is red. This red is called distortions, and at times it's not always proper to see this. You know, probably 1 or 2 sound, or maybe the compressors or that you used, or the EQ boost that you used might result into getting distorted. So make sure whenever you are mixing, always put your meter on, just like what I say. This is meter on. Once the maximum start getting red signal, or once the meter start regulating to the red part of this meter, then you are losing, or you are getting out of the shape of the mix. So always make sure that you get rid of the red signal. So that is a very strong tips for you to know when you want to achieve a good mix. So the number 9 tips that I'll be unfolding today is refresh your compressor. So what do I mean is that make sure you run the finished mix back through a compressed limiter. Yes, run it through a compressed limiter. That is what I'm trying to say in the tips number 9 that I stated. Refresh your compressor. You know, make sure you run it often through a compressed limiter, and is going to gives you a very good result. So this is the tips number 9 that you should learn about. So the final tips, which is number 10, is slam to tape. What do I mean by slam to tape? Before you get into your mastering, make sure that you have a reference track that you are looking up to, a very professional reference track that you are looking up to. Always try to combine your tape machines. That is going to help you on these particular tips. You know, the most important thing right here is get that particular genuine reference track that you wanted to use. Get it. Like when you get it, try everything possible to master the volume. Make sure you master the song to have that closed volume that you are expecting. Yes, that you're expecting. Make sure you understand that. So master that song to have that particular reference song volume that you wanted. So it's a very strong tip. I know that you have understood this, and in case you have any question, feel free to write me down on the comment section and tell me what you think about that. So if this tutorial has been helpful to you, and you are yet not subscribed to this channel, then you are on a long team. Please consider subscribing down below. Click the notification bell so you'll be the first to get notified once I upload a new brand video, because I do upload videos every week, Mondays and Fridays especially. I know you don't want to miss out on this great content that I put up in this channel. Remember, I still remain your humble producer, Jacoby Jackson. This is music production, guys. See you next time. Remain blessed.